Hello, St. Hedwig's parishioners. This is Father Chris, and on my last push for the Diocese of Orange Pastoral Services Appeal for 2021, I wanted to give you a little bit more of an understanding of what your money is going to be used for. Our parish goal for the diocese is $124,000, which, as of today, April 25th, we've already surpassed that goal in terms of pledges. But the sky's the limit. We need an awful lot more if we're going to be raising any money so that we could do something to improve our hall. In 2020, our Pastoral Services Appeal was also dedicated for money to fix up the hall. So we've needed 2 years of PSA rebates in order to raise enough money to do the things that need to be done, which I'm about to show you. So we're going to start outside, and we're going to show you, of course, it's a Quinn Hall named after the founding pastor, Monsignor Des Quinn. And just the way the hall looks right now, it obviously needs some kind of beautification, but beautification isn't exactly the object of what needs to be worked on here. But you could see there are steps and there's a wheelchair ramp over here, and according to the contractors I've talked to, we need to do something to make all of this more compliant with the Americans with Disability Act. That's the ADA. I'm going to be referring to that a few times. This building was built long before there was an Americans with Disability Act that required certain kinds of parameters for construction. So this hall is woefully inadequate based on all of that. There are a series of other things that need to be worked on as well. So we're going to go around to the side now and take a look at some other exterior things that need to be worked on. Okay. This is part of the exterior of the hall. You may recognize as the Parish Lounge. And the Parish Lounge has this really funky approach to it, which is also not according to law. So all of this concrete here needs to be completely redone. There's whole sections of it that are broken, and where you might trip on it like that. We need to get this all cleaned up, as well as these bushes, all of these old juniper trees. All of this stuff needs to go so that this can be a better approach to a building, to just have access to the pastoral, just have access over here to the Parish Lounge. Now, let's go on into the building. So as we approach the front doors, I do want to remind you of something. Because of 2020 and the pandemic, nobody's been in here. This has been the exclusive use of the school now for a year, which means maybe you've forgotten what exactly the hall looks like and what kinds of needs it has, but I'm going to show them to you. Hopefully that will give you all the more reason why you'd like to participate in the 2021 Pastoral Services Appeal. So let's go on inside, take a look. Okay, all right, so now we're in the hall, we got all the lights on, and I want to show you some of the features that really need to be worked on. The first one is right here. Oh my goodness, I used to be younger when I could do this better. You see this? Would any of you want this in your home? Probably not. But we have a few spots in this church, in the hall here, where the tiles are missing. We've got sections of tiles broken out. Now, besides the fact that it's ugly, it's also a tripping hazard. If you could think about all the different sporting events that we have in here, or other kinds of events, you would want to be catching your heel or your toe or something on something like this. So we need to take out all of the tile on this floor. But it's not simply because the tile is cracked. There's a deeper issue, and you can see it in a crack that runs all the way the length of this building and all the way the width of this building. We need to come up with a new flooring solution for sports, for parish events, for the fish fry, for scout usage, and for masses. We use this church as an overflow for masses for Christmas and Easter at least. These things all need to be considered as we come up with a new flooring solution so that it's not only good for sports, but it's also good for the tile. But what I want you to see in this crack, and by the way, we're also going to be fixing up all of our bleachers. We're not going to replace them. We have to take them out so we could put in a new floor below, but we're going to clean them up, revarnish them, and make them look brand new. The issue with this crack that you're seeing here is that there is a problem in the foundation of this building. And all of the tiles that are missing along this crack. It runs either north-south or east-west, and it all stops right there. It's a crack in the foundation. It's not just a crack in the tiles. That foundation crack will need to be addressed. Once we scrape all of the tiles off the floor, something is going to have to be injected into this crack in order to solidify it so that the foundation of this hall will remain firm for years to come. Now we've looked down at the floor and the foundation. Now we have to also consider what we're doing with the ceiling. which needs to be replaced. It's all drop ceiling and it's kind of broken up in different spots. The lighting solution needs to be better, and the sound system needs to be improved. You could see if you're looking up, there's just little speaker enclosures all over in the ceiling, and they're 60 years old, some of them, and probably all the cones and all the different mechanisms for the speakers are all dissolving. So we need a whole new sound system for this hall as well. Another possibility is, depending on how much money we can actually raise from this pastoral services appeal, we'd like to put air conditioning in this hall. And any of you who have been in here during the summer, during Autumn Fest, or during any other time, you know full well just how awful this hall can be after a while. So I'd like you to consider, if you've never participated in the pastoral services appeal before, for the sake of this building being more useful and more comfortable for everybody that uses it all year round, we need probably another $100,000 just for air conditioning, just to consider air conditioning. But whatever you give to the pastoral services appeal will take care of the things we absolutely have to do, which is the floor and the ADA compliance things. There are things we have to do, and then there will be things that we like to do. The sound system and the lighting are things we'd like to do. Air conditioning is something we'd like to do, but there are certain things we absolutely have to do. But I just want you to see, in this last year, the only person that's been in the hall is the school, so it looks like kind of an abandoned school property right now, and we want to get it back to our own use. All right, now here we are in the kitchen, and if any of you have ever been in this kitchen before, you know it's very warm and very noisy because all the refrigerators and freezers are constantly operating and pumping hot air out into this room to keep cold air in these other places, which means there are things that this kitchen needs. Venting for one. It would be nice if it wasn't so hot in here all the time. But there's some code compliance issues that we have to address. Everything else might just be a matter of stuff we'd like to do in here. Appliances maybe that we'd like to replace. But the code compliance stuff includes, we don't have enough sinks. There's supposed to be like 2 sinks over here and another sink over there. I'm not exactly sure what it is. But there's going to be a need to actually buy some new equipment in this place. Fire suppression system, I think, is substandard and needs to be replaced. The walls need some attention. And the appliances just need to be cleaned up, if not replaced altogether. But again, the things that we have to do in here, we will take care of. Everything above and beyond that is going to be based on how much money we can collect to do the things we'd like to do here in the kitchen. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at the men's and women's bathrooms in the hall. Sorry if that's something that you don't particularly want to look at, but this is probably the major issue besides the foundation of this hall that absolutely the Americans with Disabilities Act is requiring us to do something about. Part of it is also a plumbing issue. Because these buildings and all this infrastructure is 60 years old, we've cast iron plumbing and it's beginning to fail. We've had, maybe you've noticed it over the last few years, we've had to dig up sections of the ground because the plumbing just failed. The water pipes, the sewage pipes, everything is falling apart because it's old and it's just dissolving right there in the dirt under this building. The bathrooms are becoming less and less functional. And it's not a matter of them just looking nice. It's actually a matter of can we keep repairing the plumbing as it continues to fail. A good example of that is right here. There's a clean out, a sewer clean out right here under this sink. And you see that it's actually raising above the floor because as it corrodes, it's pushing up. There's another one on the other side over by in the ministry offices as well. This bump here is not only dangerous because it's another tripping hazard, it's a sign that there's a problem with the plumbing. Now let's go over this way. This door is narrow, this hallway is narrow, this door is even more narrow. You can't get most wheelchairs through this door. And then once you get to this spot, you have to make a 45-degree turn in order to get into this bathroom. That's an issue. ADA compliance? Absolutely not. This entire bathroom has to be completely redone. Again, not because it's ugly and it's always kept clean, it's because it's physically impossible to continue using these bathrooms the way they are. We need to raise them up and fix them up and make them better. Now, let's look at the boys' restroom is pretty much the same. You get to this point and you have to figure out how to manipulate a wheelchair to move around through a door that's too narrow and into this space. Also, you can see there's tiles falling off the floor over there. And everything in here, although it's kept as clean as we can, still needs to be updated and redone. The problem is this space for the men's room, that space for the women's room are too small a space. we actually need to expand both of these bathrooms into a larger space. So that's going to require us to do a demolition project over here. This is the back entrance to the Parish Lounge. And right here, next to the women's room, the men's room, is this area here, which is a storage area. And what was decided by the contractor was, if we can make this a wall, get rid of this storage area, we have all that space. This space here, which is more than 6 feet, it's almost 8 feet of space, that we can then expand the men's and women's rooms and make them larger so that we can do the ADA compliance things. And we'll find some other place to store this stuff. But it's important that we have our bathrooms not only in good working order, but useful according to the laws of our country as we stand right now. Now we've left the hall bathrooms and we've gone to the other side of the hall into an entrance that takes us into the ministry offices where there are some other issues that need to be addressed. So let's go. There is a ladies' room here, which is so small you can't actually get into it without going past the door and then closing the door so that you can get to the stalls over here. This is definitely not ADA compliant. And it's very uncomfortable for any female staff to have to use a restroom that is like this. Now, let's go to the other spot. Oh, you can't follow me because of the doors in the way. So around this corner then is the men's room, which is equally cramped and too small. And again, if you were in a wheelchair or a walker, this would be a very difficult space to navigate. The door opens up a bit more, and at least you can get in. But still, the space is very tiny. So what we were planning to do is, instead of having a male and female bathrooms, is that we were going to completely demolish this entire corner of restrooms and create one unisex restroom so that it's a larger space and can be more useful for maybe a person in a wheelchair or somebody with a walker or whatever other kind of ADA compliance this building needs to have. There's all this stuff in the way that keeps us from being able to best use this area. The carpeting, the paint, and the walls here in the ministry area also need some work. And so to conclude, for this 2021 Pastoral Services Appeal, I hope my little show and tell here has made it obvious what exactly we really need to do to fix up this hall. What we will certainly do is take care of all the health and safety codes in the kitchen, restrooms, floor, and hardscape, inside and outside. Once our cost analysis is done, we will know not only what we must do, but what we can do, which would include things like the sound system or the lighting or an air conditioning system in here or other kinds of beautification things that go above and beyond the physical things that we absolutely have to do to address the usefulness of this building. Anything above and beyond $124,000 is money that will come back to our parish. We've almost reached that goal for the diocese, but we have a long way to go if we wanted to double that amount so that we can have another $100,000 or more that we can use toward this project. So I encourage you, if you've already given and you've already pledged, thank you very much. If you have not yet made a pledge or thought that this wasn't necessary, I'm hoping that this show and tell will make it obvious this is something that we really need to take care of. The plan is that during the summer of 2022, after we've collected all the money from 2 years of PSA, together with whatever money is still in the building fund, that we'll be able to take care of remodeling the hall. So I hope this is something that you will take seriously and seriously consider being a part of. It has nothing to do with whether I'm here or not. It has everything to do with other people built this hall and we've been enjoying its use, and now it's our turn to make sure that it's useful again for another 60 years, for generations of Catholics to come. God bless. Thank you.